Now we're going to go ahead and actually build the body of our clock. So to do that, we'll create a new layer by clicking on the New Layer button down here. And double-clicking on that layer name, we can rename it to Clock Body. With that created, let's go ahead and import a wood grain texture that we'll use to decorate our clock body. So to do that, we'll do File, Import, and we'll import this to the library itself. Here I have a number of different assets prepared for our project. I want to find woodgrain.ping and open. You'll notice that this immediately is added to my library, and we can look and see that it is a small patterned texture here. Okay, let's choose our rectangle tool here, and what we'll do is create a nice cabinet. So to do that, we'll just drag out a basic shape like this, and then simply select it with the selection tool and modify it. So I want this to be about 350 in width and 500 in height. So make it as tall as the stage. As for a stroke, I don't want any stroke on this. And for a fill, you'll notice that both of my textures that I've brought in, my images, show up as swatches here. So I'll actually select that wood grain texture that we just brought in right now. At this point, we'll want to center this object. So I'm going to actually convert this into a drawing object so that we can see the texture much better. We can go into our swatches and see that it is a bitmap fill. All right, let's select this, and in our Align panel, we'll align it to stage, and we'll align this to the top edge of the stage and to the horizontal center. And now we have this nice clock body. Additionally, I want to create a little nook for our pendulum to swing back and forth within. So to do that, I'll select our rectangle tool once again, and I'll turn on drawing object mode because I'm going to create this in the same layer as the body. We'll keep the stroke off, and the actual color for the nook is going to be black. However, I want this to be black at about 40% alpha. So you can pull down the alpha right here for the color. And then we just need to draw in a nook. And you can see how this looks like just a basic cutout from our clock body, a depression and inset portion where some of the internal mechanics can go. Using the selection tool to select the nook object, I'm going to make sure it's the exact size that I need. So for width, I'm going to make it 140 pixels, and for height, 290. And as you see there, I had my little link icon activated that would lock both the width and the height, and we don't want that. For our alignment, I'm going to center this and align it to the bottom edge. Now that we have our body and this nook created, I'm going to go ahead and lock down this layer as well, and then we can move on.